but it's not roofing nails, that I do know now.
Okay, yeah, there's just a bunch of holes all in the ceiling.
Yeah, he sent me the picture,
Okay, good.
and of the recliner with all the little dust
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Was it whiskey that did it?
It was like
Yeah,
you was
quite
sitting there
reached
and
the
there's
ceiling.
these little spots.
Yeah.
Because I argued that one with you for a good long while until they finally sent me a photo and they're like, it's not the nails. I'm like, okay, I got you. They're not quite 10 feet long. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay.
Judy's house.
So next item up is consideration of empty director seats. I'm so excited for this. Excited. As you all know, Cluster 5 has had an empty seat since July?
May.
Okay. And we have somebody who has stepped forward and expressed interest and willingness, that's important too, willingness, to join the board. So, Tricia, if you don't mind, would you mind just kind of coming up and telling everybody like who you are and
When you lost your mind and decided to volunteer.
Don't jinx it. We're excited. We're excited. We got somebody, so.
My name's Tricia Sheehan. We just purchased our condo in Cluster 5. It'll be a while before we move in because we're doing a lot of updating. But I found out there wasn't a director when I moved in, and I want to help by getting us all to work together and be a part of the community.
We need a motion to appoint Tricia to the Cluster 5 director seat for the remainder of the term.
Motion?
Oh. It's a party.
Everybody-
That was Dawn, right?
Yeah, it was done.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Is there a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye. Any opposed? All right.
All right, you want to join us? Have a seat. And somewhere there's a packet for her.
Right here.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. You got it all.
Also, welcome. We're very excited, and I'm sure Cluster 5 is very excited to have somebody who, and fun fact, Tricia's grandmother owns in Cluster 5, so that's how we found out about her. So it's all in the family there in Cluster 5. So welcome. We're happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
And even though the board seems very, very happy, Janet is the happiest. She's like, oh, thank God, I'm not going to get roped into it again.
Yay! I love Janet. I had lunch with her last week.
We had lots of fun at lunch.
Yes, she is a sweetheart.
Well,
Just keep the liquor flowing.
There you go.
I don't know what.
What's the unit number? 59. Got it?
No, it was Galati.
Frank is my fiance, and then Sheehan is my last name.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep, oh, you're on here. They just didn't put it in right, so they don't even show you as a owner.
All right. Next item is consideration of 2025-2026 insurance proposal. Yay, insurance! Said no one ever.
Is it a Trinity family? They went to Trinity. They went to.
Who don't you know?
I know, right?
I'm not looking at her.
Tricia?
Yeah, she knows Fiona too. Oh my goodness. We can't escape Fiona.
Nope.
Like, this woman knows everybody. Okay,
No,
so.
we don't want to. She's still there.
All right, so 2025-26 insurance proposal. We did renew our policy with a couple of changes. Well, not really. So what do you want to talk about with this? Something specific?
No, we were just, I think you and Dawn, didn't you just want to tell people what our new premium was or what?
Dawn, I'll look this one here because you're our treasurer and you do all the money.
Is she muted?
So Laura and I, we got the original proposal, and I'll go very briefly. We got the original proposal, and we had some additional questions. And it wasn't just us, but it was other board members as well. But due to timing, it was just easier for Laura and I to get on a call with Anthony. And some of the things we wanted to ask was, in terms of the coverage. So we got nitty-gritty into the coverage. So we have coverage for directors and officers. We have other coverage. We have an umbrella policy. We have different components to workers' comp, pollution, crime. So there's other portions of the insurance. It's not just, overall insurance, if you will. And there's also the deductible, as you all know. We had 5% deductible last year for our last policy. And as we all know, we all had the assessment. So what good did 5% do? So we got into a lot of those questions with Anthony, and I will say he was very, very kind, very gracious. And whether he thought our questions were worthy or not, he never gave us the impression that they weren't. So I applaud him for that. But we asked, Laura and I asked for other proposals for different deductibles and made some changes to some of the limits that were more in tune with what our current situation is. And one of the last questions I asked him is, for example, we had one portion of our policy had like a $29.9 million limit. And I said, well, we don't need it. Can we go to 1 million? And it brought up, which we did, but it brought up the question of why did we have the 29.9 million last year? And that had to do with the fact that no one would insure us last year. Those who were around when we were talking about budgets and how much our policy went up, it was because of our roofs. It was there were a lot of factors, but mainly the roof. So we had to, in essence, take what we were given last year. That's not the case this year. Has to do with the roofs being done and a few other modifications. Obviously, the policy is still expensive, so we do have to finance it, which we've had to do all the other years. But all in all, we had quite a significant reduction, and if I don't quote me on the number, I think it was about 18% reduction in the premium, for the annual premium. Does that cover everything, Laura?
I think so. It was just under $80,000 that we saved with this. What was originally presented to us was, I think, wasn't it a 3% and a 5%? And we were both like, you guys don't cover anything, so would we pay that? And so that was kind of what precipitated the conversation was, and I was frank with him, like, you're telling us that we had such a massive increase last year and so much of our HOA dues go to the insurance. We complied with what the insurance company told us we had to do, and we spent $1 million on roofs. And you're telling me that we're gonna give our owners a $29 a month savings. I did not like that. I did not think that was adequate, and I wanted to understand what our options were. Because I didn't want to come here and say, well, we renewed our insurance, but it only saved you guys this much money. That's not much, right? Considering what it cost us over the course of the last year. So he was really great, sat with us, explained. I mean, we asked a lot of questions, and he was more than happy to kind of go back to the insurance company and find out what our options were. He explained, like, we had talked about, can we increase the deductible? He explained the reasoning why that's not a good idea, and it's all about funding for people who purchase homes and forced coverage that we would have to provide if the mortgage broker, whoever, or the lender would not provide a mortgage because of what the 7.5% versus 5%. So finally, we all got on a call, Janet, Anthony, Dawn, and I, and talked about here are the options. And so the options that we went with are, what we talked about tonight, which is about just under $80,000 in savings for the community. And we're hoping that it makes a big difference. And again, we're hoping even more that the wind mitigation reports are going to help our personal homeowners insurance and drop the cost down there. So hopefully that will be more impactful than what the overall coverage is for the community. But we didn't just take what they offered, we talked about it to find out other options for us. Any questions?
Laura was mentioning, because we did look, as we she said the 7.5% deductible, because obviously the 5 didn't do anything, and quite frankly, neither was the 3, based upon what we all just paid. But to the 7.5% deductible, it would prohibit anybody from getting, it could prohibit people from getting financing from the bank. And as Laura said, there's forced coverage, meaning a potential owner could be compelled to, they can't get your mortgage unless you actually pick up the coverage that the association is not offering. And I think Janet confirmed that there's no association that she knows that has that high of a deductible. So, and honestly, it really didn't save us a lot of money.
No, considering the penalty, but it's on here, let me see it. It was like 14,000 for the year, and it might cost an owner, you know, a big chunk of money, and potentially not be able to sell their home.
Right.
So we feel good about what, we went with.
So is this a new insurance company or
No.
the same one?
It's the same one actually that we went with last year. They had the best pricing or options for us. They did go out to market to find insurance, and he brought his recommendation based on the numbers.
He sent a whole list. You did get more than one offer this year, though.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got.
What's the name?
It's still American Coastal,
Oh, okay.
so same insurance company, same broker that we worked with last year. And he went out to the market early. I mean, he started the process nice and early. He knew that
So
we were getting the roofs.
We're insured properly now.
We are insured. The contract is signed, so we have insurance. So yeah, there's been continuity of coverage.
And all the clusters stay the same?
All the clusters stay the same, so.
What
per
was the
unit.
savings?
So, yeah.
That we get,
80,000.
no, that we.
Any
Oh, I don't know for us
questions?
individually.
What's the savings for us individually then?
Don, no, it's more than that. Don, did you figure out what the savings per unit on the insurance are? I don't math.
No, I didn't identify percentage, because we also have to factor in the financing part.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though we finance it, financing isn't free. So no, I'm not gonna quote, I can't even remember, I'm sorry. I'm looking at budgets too, so my numbers are all over the board.
Yeah, we know that it's more than $29.88.
Is that gonna come back to us, or is that what's gonna be done with the?
The master pays for that, so when the budget's done for the master, that's that much less going into the master. But depending on what other expenses are in there, whether that'll trickle down, probably. But we don't know for sure. And also, every owner will be able to get a little bit of a discount on their wind mitigation.
So would that, in essence then, it could be where our maintenance may not go up as much or whatever like it did because of the insurance being so high?
Yeah.
That segue,
That's been our goal.
Right.
That's really been our
Right.
goal this whole year, is
Okay.
that we were doing the things that would allow us to not have such a drastic increase.
Right.
We've been very focused on that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
When can we get the reports? Because I know that, like, for my insurance
Came
company.
late to the game, Sean.
I know, I
So had you
apologize.
been here when we started. you
I
would've
apologize,
answered
I have a
that.
chief that's retiring and there's a chief ceremony going on and I have to.
Ooh,
Well-
getting yelled at.
Yeah, I know, right?
he's
I
getting
believe
prop-
I've been used to it.
He's
I'm
getting
like-
properly chastised. They were out, we're waiting for them, so.
Okay.
yeah,
Are they gonna
they'll-
be mailed or emailed or?
As soon as we get them, I don't know how long they take to do them. I mean, he just did the inspection the other day, did them this week, Monday.
They're
right?
done
Yeah,
for
so,
building,
I mean,
so
Correct.
As soon as I get them, I'll get them out.
she'll get them out
Okay,
to all of us, so
thank you.
then we can.
I'm not gonna mail them though, is that what you asked?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
gonna
not
email them or
I'm
mail?
gonna put them on the website and I'm gonna email them to everybody.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm not gonna mail them.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Cluster Q's gonna have to pay for that too? Because there's a claim.
No,
What's that?
no, when the claims were made from the 10 original clusters, the individual clusters paid for all of that. So, all right, any other questions about insurance? Really? It's such an exciting topic, I know. So at least we know it's got coverage. Okay, pool reserves, is that you?
This is me, so, yeah, I'm all excited. So I just wanted to bring to the board's attention, I put it on here as consideration in case you wanna make a motion for this next year's budget, so I can get it done this year. In budget prep, I've given, Dawn and I are gonna be meeting tomorrow to go over the first draft, and then we'll hand them off to the board. So here's, the statute changed July 1st. The board has the ability to pool the reserves or go from pooled back to straight line with a board decision without a vote of the ownership. So you still can't use, if you're in the straight line method, or if you're in the pooled method and you have a list of items that you're pooling, you still can't use the funds that are designated for a specific category. You cannot use them for anything else. You cannot reduce funding, you cannot waive funding, any of that still without the owners. You can't, if you're in the straight line method like you are now, you can't borrow from the pool category and give to, I'm calling it the pool category, let me look and see what is an actual category. You can't borrow from building and grounds and use it for the pool or vice versa. You have to use the money where it's allocated in the straight line method. Pooling it all together allows you to use the funds for any of the items that are within the pool, and you have to save and do a schedule for the longest amount of life years remaining. So that changes per cluster, and I can give you some examples, though my thing does not change very fast here. For cluster 1, your longest remaining life term item is the pool deck at 17 years. Cluster 2, your longest remaining life deck is the pool deck at 24 years. So the amount of years that you're funding for, same with cluster 3, the amount of years that you're funding for is how the schedule goes, but all the money can be in there. So the secret to this, and again, I call it the magic, I don't know what you want to call it, by being able to use them between the items that are within the pooled category, does a couple of things. The overall collection, rather than collecting, and I'll use this example, let's say the plumbing pipes being replaced is a 60-year project, there's 25 years left. So you have a schedule of the last 25 years, you're going to collect all that money, so you have it at year 60 to go ahead and replace those pipes. The pool gets resurfaced every 10 years. So it's due in 2 years, so you're doing it year 2. You're also doing it year 12. You're also doing it year 22. You're also doing it year 32. Wait, how many did I say we had left? I don't want to go past myself. But anyway, you're collecting that full amount multiple times instead of just once like you do on the straight line. So you're collecting a lot more money for items that occur multiple times within the span of the longest life year term. And because you can use them for other things, you actually need to collect less from the owners per year.
In the pool.
In the pooled method. That's the magic of it. The statute is very clear on this, that you must, seriously, and I've done you all a spreadsheet for this year, but well, you know from last year, and everyone got a copy of the budget, you must keep track of the items that are in the pooled category. We have all that on your budgets from your reserve study. Everything is in there. It's listed. You're good to do it. But we can't ever get rid of that and just say, let's put this chunk of money in here, let's put that there. You must keep that list of what is in that grouping. But you can group that money and use it for whatever you want. Now, because, and if anyone here is friends with her, I'm sorry, but since I know whose unit you bought, I'm going to say, now that Ann's gone, because this is not the same as that cross-utilization where a board member, first off, that was not done correctly anyway, but where you can take all of the reserve funds for all 7 communities within here, 6 in the master, and spend them on one thing. I am talking about within your cluster, collecting for your reserves. You know, Megan, for you, as an example, you know, you've used up your building reserves that you've been collecting this year, fully funding, and it would be nice if you had another stack leak, if you didn't have to special assess, you could use the funds that are in reserves already. So, I mean, there's something to be said for it. Dawn would like, I think, do you want to speak against it, Dawn? I mean, Dawn would maybe not like to do it. every decision is a full board decision, you have to vote. I don't know, because you buy your documents and buy your budgets and buy your financials, you're each doing separate monies. So I think that you could go per cluster if you want and make a decision to pool it or not pool it, and then the board would vote on that. And I think it has to be per cluster because there are there's 6 declarations out there, 6 sets of financials. So I think that, I mean, even if you all decide to pool it, we could make one decision, motion to pool all of them, but you could do them individually if you want to, if some want to and some don't.
And the only thing I'm gonna add is that I was just talking to Janet a little bit about it, and, full disclosure, I haven't really done a huge analysis on the information that she sent me. My initial thought was, we all know what has gotten us into this situation now, and the fact that we didn't have reserves funded as they should have been. And that would be the only reason why I would hesitate to do it. Now, Janet has, I think we did, there's numbers that are pooled reserves as opposed to not pooled, and what a difference that might make. So I think using the pooled reserves does benefit all of the owners in that we have lower HOA, but is it, how much lower? And is it worth it to, if it does create less reserves overall, is it really worth it if it's a small dollar amount? So, it's just what takes more research to see what will work best. Similar to our budgets, and I know we all don't want the HOA fees like we have them, but, you know, sometimes you gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, and maybe you don't have as much of one thing in order so that you can do another. It's a delicate balance. This is kind of along that same lines. We just don't wanna be in this situation or leave this situation for somebody down the road.
Do we have any idea at this point what impact it's gonna have either way for what we've got to fund? I mean, the pooled versus the straight line. For some reason I thought we had been doing a pooled method.
You were doing areas of pooled method. We did building and grounds, the pool and the roof, because that's how she designated on the reserve study. Because everyone was so excited to do that last year and not individually fund, I did this year's draft budgets with the pooled reserves for everyone. It took me hours to build all these things. And it wasn't until I was just talking to Dawn before the meeting that I found that maybe you don't want to pool. So I'm meeting with Dawn tomorrow to go over these. If I can't get it done by tomorrow morning when we meet, I'll go back to last year's budget and update that for this year to see what the difference is. I know it's going to be significantly more than what it is with it, you know, in the pooled method. And I'll go see, you know, what that is. I could do one fast here, but we could move on. If you want me to do one fast, like just use an example,
Oh, yeah.
then the next section is the expenditures, and we need a motion, and that's the list if you want to go through it. I'll try and do one real quick.
Oh, fun. Okay. All right, so next item is consideration of cluster master expenditures over $1,000. Oh my gosh, they're almost full already.
I know, right?
Oh my gracious, okay. Cluster 4 is for Gilmore Pools for pool lighting.
The pool?
No, this is for pool lighting, not poop.
Oh, okay,
Pool
sorry.
lighting. Aren't you glad that you didn't join this meeting earlier, Sean?
Probably so.
You're like, what are you talking about, poop?
Yeah,
So
probably so.
excited. Okay. So pool lighting for $3,759.74.
That
Master,
includes the pool.
that does include the pool?
I think it includes the pool, yeah.
Just you wait, Sean, we'll fill you in.
I don't wanna be mad.
It's amazing, it's amazing. It's just a story for generations. Master was Gilmore Pools as well, $4,056.21 for the pool pump. Not sure if y'all down in cluster 5 could hear the pump, but let me tell ya,
Kept me awake at
that
night.
thing was impressively loud. So we had been band-aiding it for kind of a while, and she died. So
Finally.
we have a new pool pump there. Okay, cluster 2 for John Gubernat, $3,150 for termite repairs. Cluster 1, Munyon Painting for $1,450 for ground seepage. Sounds amazing. Cluster 6, Complete Electric
Yeah.
is,
It's water coming up
yeah,
under the.
it just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And it's probably quite fragrant. Munyon Painting, Complete Electric for Cluster 6 for $4,494 for carport electric. And we're back to Corey. Cluster 3, $2,575.04 for a waste pump. Okay, just so you know, all of these next ones are waste pumps. Okay, Cluster 1, $3,550.83. Cluster 2, $2,575.04. Cluster 5, $3,891.80. Cluster 6, $3,891.80. And Cluster 4, $3,891.80. And finally, we have Cluster 4, Escalante Tree Services for $1,825 for 2 dead tree removals. It's a very, very happening period of time there.
What was cluster 2's for?
For which one? There's a couple of them on here.
Waste pumps.
There was, all of the Gilmore pools in the last section were waste pumps.
All that had to do with the Department of Health and the inspections, all those things.
Yeah.
What exactly is a waste pump?
It takes waste out of the pool.
In case someone poops in your filters?
Yeah.
Danny.
It gets waste out of there, so you're not floating in human sewage. Doesn't that sound delightful? Do we have discussion? About these, yeah. All right. Are we gonna just make a anybody want to make a motion just to approve them all? I motion that we approve.
I motion we approve all of them.
Do we have a second?
Yay!
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, all right, there we go. All of these expenditures. Oh, Corey Gilmore, if we ever see him again. Okay, then we've got any other last minute contracts or proposals. Is there anything?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Can I ask something while she's figuring that out? Trash.
I'm
I've had
almost
a couple of people ask me about like rules of trash, and there were a couple things I wasn't 100% on. So I could bring up an example. So recently we had over in the cluster 2/6 area where people were dumping things, you know, so we have the ongoing issue, and a lot of times it's when people are moving in or out, and they dump like, you know, mattresses and chairs and sofas and all kinds of good stuff. And the trash company will not remove that, so we actually have to pay separate for that to be removed. So that's been an ongoing issue. But the other question that I was asked is, when people are throwing away like boxes of stuff, like or boxes in general, or cardboard, is it supposed to be broken down? Are they allowed to be putting that in the trash bins, or should they be putting that in recyclables? So I said I would ask during the board meeting, because I wasn't sure about like breaking down stuff. Yeah.
The official
far as
response
the rule,
is
yeah.
if you're not gonna break them down, they go into the dumpster. But the preference is that you're gonna break down those boxes and put them into the recycling.
Right. Yeah. I just didn't know if there was a specific rule / law for it, so I said I'd check.
To bring up something too, are we going to 1 day a week, trash removal? That's the thing now in, Manatee County.
That's the bins. They
Not dumpsters? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not the
Yeah, I think
dumpsters.
we
I did
found
check
out
that
that
for you.
it doesn't, okay, good, that's right.
Yeah, I thought
all
that would be
the
asking that, I'm sorry.
Anything else from the board? Special?
Janet, yes, I have something. Laura,
I heard you.
I have a question. I want to know when is the appropriate time for us to consider, while Janet is working on budgets, adding to the reserves categories. Because for our cluster, I would like to see a new sprinkler system. And I would also like to see tree trimming included in our reserves, because both of those have gotten the cost of the repairs and the, trimming of the trees, because our trees have gotten so large, are very expensive, and I'd like to see our money set aside if possible. So I'd like categories added for our budget. When do you want that information, Janet?
When I send you your draft, you can change it any old way you want to.
I mean, is that
Okay.
something that the rest of the board would like to also?
I think that's a great idea, Nancy, simply because I know that's been an issue in cluster two. And again, I know we're waiting to find out about the pooled reserves and things, but I can only speak for cluster two, and we for the last several years, we've had very expensive building repairs that are not optional to fix, you know, and they're, again, very expensive, which leads us to being in a situation when we have just other, maintenance items that we need to do, such as trimming trees or, sprinkler issues or the, gutter issues. There's like no money there's no money for us to be able to do it. So I do think that should be included, which is another reason why I think I would like the pooled reserves, just because I think it might help us. We've been fighting so hard the last couple of years to get on the right track, but it's just almost impossible with the constant building issues.
Well, isn't it possible, Janet, that down the road, if we went with pooled reserves at this time, that down the road, we could look at the possibility of changing that?
A board vote, is what Janet said.
Yeah.
Like, could we adjust it like yearly, or like the next year if we decided we didn't like the way it was going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would the rest of the board want to see a line item or like the reserves for irrigation and like tree trimming and whatnot?
Kind of keeps it in,
Yeah.
that'll keep it simple, because you know what's what, yeah.
Could we add tree trimming in with the landscaping stuff, because isn't it them that typically do it anyway?
Yeah.
Yes, maybe increase that expense.
Well, it's them, but I'm questioning, one of the clusters had, what was it, $1,400 in an expense for trimming a tree?
It was,
Removal-
no, it was like
It was my
removal-
cluster, Nancy, it was my
Removal
cluster.
of two?
Yes, it was my cluster in 4, and the reason that it had to be removed is that it was damaged during the hurricane. So it uprooted.
Okay,
So,
okay.
there was a black olive tree, and then there was one that was dead.
Did Jesus do that for you, or was it another vendor?
it was
There's another vendor.
Okay, so that doesn't, I mean, does it go under landscaping then, when you're talking about Jesus's contract, or does it not?
Well, it can be under landscaping in the reserves. It doesn't mean that Jesus is the one who's gonna be hired to do it. It just means that we're funding for that specific work.
Yeah,
And
it should
we
be already,
determine the vendor,
it used to be already in there.
so. But it sounds like the other directors find value in having something like that built into their reserves as well, so.
I do. I mean, I'm trying to speak for our owners, and I do think that it's just really an awful feeling when, you know, we've spent the last couple of years with a lot of hefty assessments and increase in HOAs, and we're really trying to, you know, make cluster two, you know, what it should be, and it seems like every time we want to do something that's necessary, it's not just because we want to, we can't even do it because all of the money went to something else. So I think it would definitely help cluster two.
It's not gonna save you anything because you need so much, in reserves. So when you're funding for reserves, when you do the schedule like we did last year, to fully fund the reserves, and you have a set amount that you're putting in each year for a project. That's the plan for the reserve schedule. When you have things that come up unexpectedly, like stack replacements and all, and you use that money, which you're allowed to do, it's for the building. Now you've got to fund that money throughout the years
Yeah.
too, so yours is not gonna go down.
Well, I understand it's not gonna go down, but
Yeah.
the thing, that's what I'm saying, it's like, we're spending more money and getting less because we can't fix anything. You know what I mean? Because it's all going to that one main expensive issue, so.
Yeah.
I have, something I'm putting, as far as putting something in the line item, we've talked about this before, is putting tenting in. Just like we have the painting, because we usually have to do it about, what, 8 to 10 years? So that gives us time to put the money aside, rather than this big, huge assessment that we have to get every time we do the tenting.
Yeah, I can update these the way they were last year and get rid of those schedules that I did this year if you want to. I'm doing a sample here, I'm doing, cluster one, cause it was first one. If you did, what you're doing this year, let me see what these totals will be. This one
I'm looking at the pooled one right now, the proposal for the pooled reserves for one.
okay, for one, you're looking at?
Yeah.
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 So if you did it the way you did it last year, I updated the years, and the only thing that we did with the project was the roofs, and we had already accounted for that. So you would look at, you're putting in $68,177.66 in reserves this year, you know, for 2026.
Okay.
It's, if you do it the pooled way, in order to keep yourself from going to a zero balance on any given year over the period of 17, which you are not allowed to do, you're looking at $60,392. So it's not a giant amount of money per year. What I will tell you is, without the pooled, the 2025 way, and I'll give you this example, the lanai restoration is $200,000 in 4 years. So now we're down to, maybe I'd already changed that, because now I have it down to 3. You only have toward it $8,000 last year. So this year, we're going to, you need to collect $191,000 and some change over 3 years. So, yeah, so it's like 63,000, just about 64 per year that you need to collect for that project. Now, in the pooled method, you still need the amount of money in the 4-year mark, but you don't have to collect 63,000 toward it, because you know, you have other funds that are in the reserves for other projects that you're collecting on that you don't need the money for quite a period of years. And as in, for instance, the carports, redoing the carports, you have $22,500 you're saving now for 2033. So each year you're putting a little bit in. Don't need it until 2033. Electrical rewiring over there, $35,000 in the year 2033. The landscape, the replacement of the irrigation system in the year 2038 at $50,000. So you have monies that you're collecting that you don't need anytime soon, that you could, if you're pooling, you could use those funds toward the lanai's restoration. Now, I'm explaining it because you're asking questions, but I will say this, I don't think any of you are going to spend $200,000 on lanai restoration in 3 years. I don't see it happening.
Well, we've only got, what is it, 4?
Lanai's?
You have, there's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what, no, there's more, no.
Yeah.
No, the lanais,
Are you
the
talking about
lanais that
balconies?
are on the main level,
Yeah.
those are the ones that are enclosed. And those were the expense of the homeowner to put in. They were not put up by the association. However, the roof that was on the second story lanai was put in when the buildings were built, along with the supports and so on and so forth. So the supports on the first level had to be adequate to hold up the second level lanai.
Right.
And we only have 4.
Well,
Sounds great.
we are eagerly awaiting the budget. We can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Do you need us to decide tonight, or can we do the straight line versus school thing? Cause I think.
Here's the process. The board, So as you know, when it's time for budgets, when we're ready, right, they have to be mailed out to the owners. The agenda with the budget information on it has to be mailed out to all the owners 14 days at least in advance of the meeting. You can't swap to straight line without having that vote.
Oh.
So if we're going to adopt at next month's meeting, then you would need to make the motion, but I mean, it's a 48-hour board meeting notice. If you guys wanna wait, look at the budgets, see the figures, see what you wanna do, and then if we decide you wanna move forward with the pool, we'll advertise a quick board meeting for just that topic. We'll make that motion, and get it done before we mail the budgets out. That's easy.
Can I make the motion that we wait until next month and go, make the decision on the pool and the other,
No.
So she said,
You don't need a motion, we'll table the item until you've had a chance to review the budgets. But, no, we don't wanna wait till next month, cause we wanna get your budget adopted next month and get your, coupons ordered for your owners, so they get them in time.
So basically what it means is that we'll have to see the budgets and then we might have to call for a meeting so that